Okay, it's me, Sara, owner of Room to Breathe. I did my first coffee chat with someone very special to me, someone very special to my baby and my husband as well, Steph Bour. She is a birth doula, a pre and postnatal yoga instructor, and a hypnobirthing educator. She is all things helping pregnant, birthing, and postpartum folks. She's wonderful to chat with. She has been in this space, I want to say, since 2015. And her practice has grown and evolved and expanded. I had the privilege of doing both prenatal yoga and hypnobirthing with her, my husband as well, and it was a mind-opening experience. Learned a lot more about biology than I had ever learned before. So please, I hope you enjoy this chat. It was our first, so hopefully audio and everything else works okay, and you can at least hear the wonderfulness that is Steph. I think we're okay. I'm just excited that you're here. We haven't really followed up via conversation since I had Gus, so I think this kind of works well. And
yes, it's a perfect moment to catch up.
Yes. And it's also, I don't know, it's good to do it before you empower your pregnancy. So yeah. My plan for today is I'll introduce you how I know you. You introduce yourself, your doula work, your yoga work, your hypnobirthing work. I'm kind of curious to know where that's gone, where that's led, because I was kind of maybe your first-ish. And then we can talk about me and our work together. And then about empower your pregnancy.
Yes.
So yeah, the way I would introduce you, the way I do introduce you to people I know is you are a pre and postnatal expert in yoga. You're a doula. You guide all birthing persons through their pregnancy and their labor and their postpartum. You're kind of a magical creature when it comes to yoga nidra, and that kind of interweaves in your work with pregnant people. And you helped me have the birth that I wanted. So you will forever be that person for me. But yeah, why don't you introduce yourself?
Yeah, thank you so much for creating this space for us to exchange and listen to each other, and for me to explain a little bit of what my passion is, because it's a work, but it's really, I think, a calling, because I started my professional life very far away from taking care of people through maternity and transformational life events like having a child. But yes, I think you summed up very well. I started working in health with yoga, so yoga for general public, but I've always been interested in more meditative practice, guided relaxation, yoga nidra. I have been practicing since I discovered yoga for myself. So really dove into the realm of this conscious sleep way before teaching.
Yeah.
And then quickly, I think my experience with yoga accompanied me through my own life transformation, becoming a mother, having my 2 kids, and then I practice yoga for support my pregnancy and learn how to, support the pressure and intensity of childbirth. So I decided I have to do this. I have to help other people, and I have to share the benefits.
Yeah.
So that's why I specialized in pregnancy and labor, in really in women's health, encompassing, the moments before, like preconception, even like working with yoga and fertility a little bit, and then all the childbearing year, and then obviously supporting parents and birthing parents, especially after having the baby in the postpartum time.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I also train myself as a doula. So to really have all those different tools to be able to choose what's the best for my clients' needs, desires, values. And I also added hypnobirthing later on as my last training. But I think it's when I'm thinking like in the very, very beginning, even before having trained myself as a yoga instructor, when we met the first time, like at Moksha, I was already interested in mind body. I was practicing yoga and I did like a massage training.
Yeah.
But it all like came together beautifully, and I think today I'm on a mission to really help families to have, to have the arrival of their babies in the best conditions possible, emotionally and physically.
Yeah.
And for this we need a village. So I am so happy to be one piece in this village.
I don't know, you kind of represent a big village.
So yeah.
Speak to. Well, yeah. So I think, well, one thing, I met you when you were pregnant. I think it was like the first time we actually like spent time together was at the first like Room to Breathe gathering. It wasn't even Room to Breathe yet. And you were pregnant with Ella.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was what? How old is she now?
2015, end of 2015, or she was born in February 2016, so she's almost 7 years.
She's almost 7 years old.
Yeah, she will be 7 in a few weeks.
That's wild. Yeah, I think something that I want to speak to, I want to make sure we talk about is how will you help me, and I think you help most people understand their physiology, but also their psychology of what they're capable of doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you gave me permission to trust my body, which I wouldn't have if I never knew you. That makes any sense. Like, well, one, you reached out to me right when I announced my pregnancy, and through our initial meetings together, yes, I lived in Boulder at the time and I had a lot of support in the psychological realm of pregnancy. But without you, I probably wouldn't have gotten as deep with what my body was capable of and trusted that over what even midwives were telling me I should or shouldn't do. So I do want to speak to that because I think on a larger scale, it kind of represents who we are at Room to Breathe, right? Like we live in the middle of this holistic space, and also we trust Western medicine, but first we trust our body's ability to do things and to heal. And I think in your work with pregnant folks, with birthing folks, you are really able to allow them to tap into that power, that ability, and understand really what that is. Because if you're pregnant, it means your body is able to do things. And I think also when it comes, even when it comes to fertility and folks going through infertility, there's so much noise that can make things harder versus easing into a space where you can trust your body's ability to do the things that it was made to do. with both and, right? Like with both medicine and holistic approaches to things. So yeah, I think I want you to kind of share perhaps just a general explanation of how you approach supporting birthing persons, especially when they're already in the hospital system, you know, they're working with an OB, and usually they're given the scary vision of what pregnancy and birth is versus the beautiful vision that you help people see.
Oof, large topic. But yeah, I think this is where my experience as a yoga teacher and the yoga in itself, and more theoretical aspect of maybe giving informations and teaching physiology and showing anatomy and like giving more like a childbirth class. It's where I really see my classes and my supporting space or the time we share together as embodied learning. So I always try to make people feel in their bodies and discover by themselves. So giving guidance, explaining like the rationales first, and then giving space with movements, with guidance of like how to, not how to feel or what to feel, but just, and it's a lot of savoir-faire. That's what we teach at Room to Breathe, like psychologically sensitive yoga, how you guide people in sensing and in realizing, in guiding their awareness. But in the context of having learned the rationales before. Like I can tell you 10 times, you can handle the pain of the surgeries, or your body will open, and you know that. But if you can't really let your body do the work or rest with this confidence that your body is able to do that, and this comes from an awareness, a deep trust that you have built with many practices over time.
Yes.
And it's like, for example, it seems simple, but like each time you go on your yoga mat, you go on a position that feels good. It's for you to find this particular position that feels good today, that will convince you that you are able to trust the feedback of your body. And so if you're doing it today in a yoga class, pregnant, you will be able to do this the day of the birth, even if you don't know where you're going to be, with who, with what surroundings, because what we teach also is to let go of expectations.
Yes.
Right? Because birth is unpredictable, like by itself, in the very essence of birth, and that's what is magical about it. If you let it happen, you don't even know, like the babies choose the day off, the time, and if there is no medical indications to kind of nudge this or guide this, the magic is that you follow baby's lead, your body's lead. And I think my yoga classes, the concept of the yoga classes are to kind of be a little mini laboratory of this experience that you might have in labor and birth. But providing rationals, providing anatomy, physiology, explaining, what neurologically what happens, the orchestration of hormones, and so you have really an understanding, and then also teaching practical tools. And that's what we do in hypnobirthing too. We teach different breathing techniques, different massage techniques, different visualization, so you kind of like convince yourself you have this big toolbox. So your thinking brain is can rest with this idea, and then you can let, your prefrontal cortex like sleep and be in your body.
Yes.
And connect with your soul and with your heart and with your baby, and that's it. But I think you really need, to the constructs before to learn with your prefrontal cortex before letting go. And then to let go, we learn relaxation techniques, movements, and we use all the beautiful tools of yoga to learn how to be in the body at will.
Yeah.
And recreate those conditions of trust, and also how to regulate your nervous system, because the problem is not to get super stressed, because that's kind of healthy. It's a signal, sometimes stress is good, even in labor or childbirth, but it's how you come back to more neutral and how you're able to come back to the ground.
For sure. Yeah, it's interesting when you're saying that, because I think a big thing you helped me with is that birth and labor can be chaotic, but you can also like ride through that chaos by not attaching to things like time or like getting rid of numbers, getting rid of, like, I'll share personally, one thing that happened during my labor was the damn baby monitor. And it was you who told me, like, your body will do the work. You are more important when it comes to all of these things, and you can feel your baby more than anything else. And my baby was okay. The monitor just wasn't staying on me. So it was scaring everybody. But I was able to like go into, I don't know what the space was that I was going into, but I was going into some space. And it was the space that we created in hypnobirthing and in all of the yoga that we did, where I was just able to like breathe. And also there was a lot of primal things that happened, and I was allowed to let it happen. So like, I think a big thing in the work that you did with me was getting rid of numbers and getting rid of time and expectations, and more so giving into a process that my body was going through that I had to believe in. And yeah, I just had to believe. I think the biggest thing was you allowed me to believe and trust.
But the beautiful thing is sometimes when we think a belief, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. It's just like what you think or what you believe. But the great thing here is that it is true. It is made for this. And so you have like this reassurance that your body is able to do this, is made to do this, is designed to do this. So you can allow yourself to believe it, because even if you believe it, but it's true. So it's not like something like a spiritual thing or something you choose to believe. We choose to believe always. We are free, but you can prove, by science, that this belief is
fact, a truth,
legitimate, or is valid.
Yes.
So, but fears and experience and everything around makes this work difficult to access this space of inner knowing. So I think that's why tools like practicing yoga, being in your body, yoga nidra, hypnosis, this is just a way of helping a person to be pregnant, helping them to do what they know how to do, but they don't know they don't know that they know how to do it. I don't know if I make myself clear.
Or there's been messages that you need medical help to do it.
Here in our body, we don't teach anything that you don't know, but we just like show you that you have everything inside.
Yes.
And you can realize this. And
and I think another thing was you get to choose your team. you get to choose who your village is. And I think that you actually taught me that really well. Because I did choose a hospital and I did have a medical system by my side, and that was comforting to me. And I also, my priority and my main focus was that you helped me with was my body, and my partner and my doula. So something I think I would like you to speak to, because I didn't do the Empower Your Pregnancy program because I got you personally. But kind of what is the typical format of Empower Your Pregnancy for people to expect, and what is your main hope or goal that people take away from it?
Yes. So what I really like about this program is, first, it's 6 weeks program, so you're able to create bonding between the participants and with myself as well. So there's really like a like-minded people kind of tribute, bond that happens, and the format is always the same. It's an hour and a half. We meet each week, and each week we have an opening circle, so a moment to listen, to be an active listener to each other, and space to really just deliver what you have to say. And then there's like a more theory part, so I will address questions related to pregnancy, to more like body related, like how to take care of your back, get to know your pelvic floor, what's conscious breathing, and what's the breathing physiology in pregnancy. Or I touch thematics like this that are typical from and are very important for the pregnant moments in life. And then so these are 4 sessions, and then the last 2 we talk about yoga for birth and labor, for labor and birth. So we have session 1 and session 2. It would not fit in one session. So we do this opening circle, then I talk a little bit, and then we get to practice. We have a full practice with that goes with the theme that we discussed before. So if it's like on your pelvic floor and pelvic bowl, we will do all the classical yoga around it, with movements, with poses, standing poses, on your hands and knees, on the floor. Like we cover all the full practice, and then I always finish with some yoga nidra, some guided relaxation. And I can't help putting some doula tips and hypnobirthing. So it's really like a melting pot of my my favorite techniques.
Yeah.
It's not childbirth education, but it's I think merging yoga, so you can really expect to work on your body to stay healthy. Mentally and physically with this program, and also address some questions and have an embodied learning of what can be labor and birth. And we
I love that. And embodied learning
away with a toolbox, let's say.
Yeah, it is empowering pregnant people. So it is like it's a preparation course, but guiding folks into trusting their own bodies, movement and needs. Because no matter what, like the more you can change positions and the more positions are available to you, I think there is that empowerment piece to get through birthing. And then also like there's a whole postpartum piece to that too, right? Like now you have the baby and you'll constantly be changing positions and having to trust your body in a whole new way.
And I think we cannot emphasize more on how the more you prepare, the more you're aware and conscious of your body and your mental state in pregnancy, the best it is for, be geared for the postpartum months.
Yeah. And your
All that
choices.
physically, and yes. And talking about mental health, I collaborate with Anna Lee,
Yeah.
therapist at Room to Breathe as well. So this is how we link psychotherapy and yoga. And she will be our special guest. She comes in the beginning of the series to talk about the importance of pre and post natal mental health, and she will give her view on this as well. So people who choose the program or can also be supported by another kind of skills. And Anna is always available and gets to know the participants as well. So
right. And I need to bring her in to coffee chats too. But yeah, I think that's part of the village, right? I think you put on a presentation of you're part of the village, you bring in pelvic floor therapy as part of the village, right? Mental health support. And that's another part of those choices. Like, not only does your body have choices and the ability to move, you have choices within the medical world of things, you have choices on who's in your village. And I think that also brings in like the beautiful boundaries that all birthing persons and pregnant folks need. And then definitely the boundaries of postpartum. So yeah.
So yeah, I think it's really different from a group prenatal class that it's you can find a lot online or in real life. Online is also in real life now, but presential.
Sure.
Because it has this component of theory, of discussion, of addressing questions, and the piece on yoga for labor and birth, which is, in those two last sessions, we talk a little bit more than we practice. But I think it's really important to, have to make sure my participants have the information they need to make informed choices, and also be able to facilitate healthy conversations with their care provider and with their doula if they have a doula, and at least the key elements that I consider the most important for them to have. So I have had some people who talk empowering pregnancy twice in their pregnancy, like in the beginning and at the end.
Oh wow!
So, and I have a testimonial for this person, and it's so funny. She says like how it was different for her to take it, like she was really in the beginning, like maybe 8 weeks pregnant, and then she took it at the end. So she didn't pay attention exactly. She didn't, click on the same things. And in the first trimester and in the last trimester.
Well, yeah, the first trimester, it's not real. Like, you're not having like, there's this thing growing inside of you, but I guess the like conceptualization of labor is so different when you're closer to the end.
But still having thought about it, having this kind of like different view of it, then if you have more time, maybe you make different choices in terms of like who will be your village, who will be your care provider, will you take a doula or not? And this, you might have wished you had this information month 3 instead of month 8.
Yes.
So, and then when you arrive at the end, you're really like into, I want infos and I want to practice for labor, because you're already in this mindset.
Totally. I mean, I can even speak for myself, right? We met and the first time we did yoga was 18 weeks, maybe?
Yeah, it was
it was in the beginning. I was like barely showing. And then we did hypnobirthing like second to third trimester.
Mm.
And then I went past my due date, as you warned me I probably would. And it was in that week when I was like going through my Rolodex or whatever you want to call it, my memory of like, what would Steph and I be doing? And we met, I think we met that week after my due date.
Mhm.
And that yoga practice was vastly different from the yoga practice we did week 22, when my body felt completely different and I was carrying very differently. So yeah, I think that is really interesting to think about, of like, take the 6 weeks here and you'll be thinking about just how to get through the different feelings of pregnancy, and then take it here and you are really honing in on labor and your village and advocating for yourself and all that stuff.
And still you like, as you know, each yoga practice is different every day, even more so in pregnancy, that the body is so transforming.
Yeah.
So still you have the yoga practice that you could take, every day of your
Mhm.
of your pregnancy. So
Yeah.
and I think it will be I'm pretty sure it's my 10th time. So, and
Wow.
I taught this program the majority of the times in person at Room to Breathe.
Right.
And then we started with COVID to do it online. And I was so surprised, as any yoga practice or meditation practice, how it still works and has, not the same benefits, but similar. Obviously, I'm not able to give adjustments or to give this soothing, presence that you have in person, but it works so well. And then the bonding with people also exists. So I would really encourage anybody who is like, doesn't know if it will be as good as in person, to try. Because you can do that in the comfort of your own home.
Your partner can listen in.
Like an intimacy in your own experience.
Totally.
Yeah.
What's one, not piece of advice, but one skill that you think all birthing persons have the right to know they have?
I think, and it's a pretty simple thing, but hard to achieve, I think, is to realize that you are able to self-regulate your nervous system, and you're able to go into this place of comfort that is always available to you.
Yes.
So and that is can be with little techniques of meditations, or a special visual, or something that we call inner resource. So how you access this, and if you want, we can do it together for the last like 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I can
Let's do it.
Try to share this, because it's a tool that you can use anytime in life, really. Like I've had students that like later on in life told me, oh, you still use this body scan or this
yes, I do.
that you taught me during pregnancy. So okay, so if you want to take a comfortable seat, and as I'm connected with you, I'm going to do it for myself as well. So first, settle the body in a way that it feels really comfortable, that you don't feel that you have to hold anything. Your hand can rest on your thighs, or even on your womb, or on your third chakra if you don't have a womb. And we'll take a clearing breath all together, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just acknowledging this presence and this little gift that you're giving to yourself of turning inwards. Just be focused on yourself. And if you bring your awareness to the top of your head, you're just going to very gently scan your body down, like a wave of relaxation around your face, your shoulders, your arms. Bring down your torso, your heart center, your belly, your hips, your legs, down toward your feet. And maybe taking another breath, and as you exhale, just washing down and allowing this wave of relaxation to just pass through your body. Head, shoulders, arms, heart, belly, hips, legs. Sensing that you're here now and you don't have to do much. You just have to be here. Connected to your heart, to the heartbeats. And then behind your closed eyes, I would like you to envision your favorite place. It might be a place that only exists in your imagination, or it might be a place that you have been once or many times. And this place is very special for you because it brings you so much joy. When you're there, you don't have to worry about anything. You are exactly being yourself. And so, as creatively as possible, envision this place. See all the details, the colors, the lights, the elements. Maybe there's other living things or people, or plants or pets around you that accompany you in this place. Notice if there's any sounds that are soothing to you. The temperature. Maybe you're smelling some characteristic fragrance or odors, smells that are nice in this place, perfume. Maybe you taste something when you go there. And just allowing yourself as creatively as possible to feel in your body, on your skin, in your heart. Feel how it feels to be in this place and the joy. This place is always accessible to you. So now, knowing this, you can let the image of this place kind of fade away. Allow your breath to become a little bit deeper, a little bit more active. bring yourself back here now, sitting. Feel the contact between your body here now on a chair or a sofa or your props. And you can take your hands and you can start to rub your hands, interlace your fingers, massage your hands, really feel your hands. And when they're getting warmer, bring your hands toward your cheeks, maybe over your eyes, and you can take a nice deep breath. And when you're okay, you can come back and open your eyes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was lovely.
This,
What is the, what did you say?
Please use this as often as you need.
I will. What is the date of Empower Your Pregnancy again? February?
So we start February 11th.
Okay. February 11th.
It's a Saturday. Yeah.
Okay. And it's every Saturday for 6 weeks?
Yes.
Wonderful.
And we will record as well. So no worries if you cannot attend one session, you can always watch the recording, and we can also meet for a little moment. And if you have questions,
Okay.
I'm always available for the students.
Well, I have to charge my mouse before I'm able to end the meeting. So it's connected. Okay, so I'm going to stop our recording. So